We need a miracle. We need a miracle of our own. And the miracle is going to make it necessary for President Obama, whichever one of the three is operating that day, to change the US policy, not because he wanted to all along, my guess is he probably did, but that's pretty irrelevant. Not because he promised it or didn't promise it in a candidate's speech, because that's pretty irrelevant, but because it's going to become politically impossible to do anything else. That's our job, to change the political discourse, the change that already exists. Look at what has happened in these last 5 or 6 years. The question of Israeli apartheid. Once you couldn't say the word Israel and apartheid in the same sentence. We now have President Jimmy Carter, by far the best former president we've ever had, writing a book called Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid, and it sells 1 million copies. Now, is everybody who bought it reading the book? Probably not, but frankly, I don't care. It's sitting on their coffee table with that incredible picture of the wall and that title, Changing People's Minds. The initiatives we're seeing right now from the pro-Israeli lobbies, they're on an aggressive move right now because they're on the defensive. They're losing their support. All of those organizations were against Obama in the election, and yet 78% of American Jews who voted for Obama. That means they can't walk into some office of the DNC or anybody else and say, we represent the Jewish community, because the answer comes back, frankly, not so much. Not so much. That has changed. The rise of Jewish anti-occupation organizations all across the country, not only J Street, but real anti-occupation activist organizations. They're in every city where I go. All of these things are highlights. Look at the coverage of the 60th anniversary of Israel. Compare it to the 50th, 10 years before. The 50th anniversary, nothing but Israeli triumphalism. This time around, plenty of triumphalism. But there were Palestinian voices on the front page of every major newspaper with reporters asking them, why do you call it a catastrophe? What is this Nakba word that you're talking about? That had never happened before. It's a different world that we're living in. And I think that as that discourse has already changed, it hasn't changed enough. That's our job. That's our job, to make it impossible for them not to reflect in the policy. The policies need legitimacy. We have to make sure that they know that if they want this policy, it's going to have a kind of legitimacy that can only come from changing it. And I'll end not by saying, keep hope alive, not by saying, that yes, we can, but to say something else that was important in the Obama campaign. And it came from the great writer and political analyst, Sam Cooke, who said, yeah, change is going to come.